Hello again, I am Blunty. This on my head right here is the LucidSound LS15X. There is also an LS15P variation of this, and we'll get to the differences between those two in a moment. But if what it is you are on the lookout for is a budget-friendly wireless gaming headset, then these should probably be on your list of things to look at before making a final decision, because they're decent. They're not amazing, but they're pretty decent. I'm going to be approaching this review a little bit differently than I do usually with the headsets because it is a budget price headset. I think we can all assume that you're already aware that you're going to be making some compromises, particularly when it comes to quality of sound and things like that. So I think we can just take that as a given, right? Also, what we can take for a given is this awkward segue into me begging for interactions on the YouTube thing. Do the thumb, the sub, the bell, the comment, all the things. Let me know what's the best headset you've ever had in your life and what's the worst headset you've ever had in your life. One or the other, or both, in the down below section. I'm curious to find out where you've been most satisfied and where you've been most dissatisfied when it comes to headsets, specifically. Now then, taken for granted these aren't going to be the best sounding headsets you'll ever put on your head, sure. They're pretty decent though. The bass is nice and clean. It's not too rumbly to muddy out everything else, but it's enough to give sort of explosions and bangs and things a decent amount of impact. The highs are crisp enough without being too piercy. It's everything in the middle that gets kind of less bright. It's not muddy and it's not unpleasant, but it's not a patch on headphones that you'll spend, 3-4 times as much money on, obviously, because that's just the nature of the beast. But I have no major complaints about the sound of these in the context of their price and functionality, so thumbs up on that one, I suppose. Having talked about sound quality itself, you are, of course, listening to the sound quality of the microphone throughout this review, and for a headset in this sort of price bracket, I find it remarkably good. There has been only one other headset with a microphone that I've even come close to liking or tolerating. When it comes to gaming headsets, long-time viewers will know this, I complain constantly about the crappy microphones they keep putting on these things. Even though voice chat is everywhere, even though content creation is everywhere, it's more popular than it ever has been in both categories. Why give us such crappy microphones all the time? Well, the Astro A10s, cheap wired headset, had a fairly good mic on them, actually, surprisingly good for the price. These are the only other budget price headset I've ever put on my head where I can tolerate the sound quality of this mic. Obviously, it's not up to the standard of my studio quality mic, which I've just switched to there for the sake of comparison. As you can tell, completely different soundstage and audio experience. But when it comes to this, you won't be using this for content creation, really, unless you're just starting out with streaming or something like that. You just want, you're not ready to spend a lot of money, but you want a halfway decent mic so people don't go, ugh. But certainly more than good enough for voice chat. I don't think you'll have too many people in your voice chat channel complaining that you sound like garbage, as long as you don't put this thing too close to your mouth or right under your nose, so you get that typical huffy puffy stuff. Now, as for taking things a bit differently in this review, what I'm going to do is I'm going to judge these against their own bullet points, the bullet points on the Amazon listing that are the reasons you would want to buy this. I'm going to measure my experience against what they say you'll experience. So, first one is wireless performance. Advanced chipset enables a strong and clear wireless signal even in crowded Wi-Fi and mesh network areas. One-step setup gets you gaming on Xbox in no time. And that's all perfectly true. Because they use their own special little USB dongle, and it's one they've been using for a few years now on the various models of the LS line. I've had zero issues with interference or signal strength or anything like that. When I wander around my little apartment here, I lose signal in the same place on these as I do with most headsets. It's going to the kitchen, there's a wall and bits and pieces between me. But, sitting at the gaming center, as it were, zero issues with connectivity, and yes, they do work instantly. You plug them in, you turn them on, you're ready to go instantly, whether you're using them on PC or Xbox, and that's where the difference comes in, by the way. The X in the name of these, that indicates these are the Xbox variant, which also means they work on Windows, of course, but it means they're specifically designed for Xbox. They identify as an Xbox controller, as far as Windows is concerned. When you plug them in and you go to select the sound source, it says Xbox controller, which is a little bit confusing and weird, but it probably helps with the compatibility stuff. The spatial sound that Windows and Xbox use, it's specifically designed and tuned for those. If you are a PlayStation user, however, you can get the identical headset, LS15 P for PlayStation, and that is designed to do the same for PlayStation. You plug it straight in the PlayStation, identifies automatically and easily, and is optimized for PlayStation's own super spatial surround sound, whatever they call it. But aside from that difference, everything else I'm saying about the headset can apply to both models. They are functionally identical except for that. Next bullet point. Designed for comfort, superior comfort during long campaigns with soft, glasses-friendly memory foam padding and a flexible, lightweight frame for spacious ear cups. Twist flat to rest comfortably around your neck between matches. And all that is true. The ear cups rest, they twist around so you can rest them flat on your chest if you just take off your headset to speak to a friend or family member in the house or whatnot. Perfectly fine. I've tested these on a stream, which means I've worn them for, I think that stream went for about 5-6 hours or something. No comfort issues whatsoever. They are leatherette ear cups over memory foam, which is not my personal preference. I find them slightly sweatier than sort of the felty type ones, but that said, these do breathe fairly well. I like them. They were comfortable. Lightweight as well. There's not much padding up on top of the headband. Not a lot of padding on the headband, but they're not heavy enough to really need it, so I never felt really any tremendous pressure on the top of my head. The grip strength around the head is quite comfortable too. They're tight enough to stay put when you wiggle around, but not so tight that you feel it when you take them off. You go, oh, you know what I mean? So yeah, all that's fine. Third bullet point reads, intuitive controls. Easy to adjust audio and chat without breaking your concentration, or via eCup quick access controls, plus mic monitoring, aka side tone, lets you hear your own voice in the headset so you know how loud to talk. And these are some of my most annoying things and favorite things about it, all in one bullet point. We'll start with the favorite things, the side tone. The side tone is fantastic. For those who don't know what the term means, side tone is basically feeding your own microphone input back into your ears so you can hear exactly what your mic is sounding like. So you can hear, for example, if your microphone is too close to your mouth and you're getting that huffy carry on, so you can tell if you're doing that and stop doing that by moving the microphone out of the way of the airstream of your mouth and or nose so you don't infuriate everybody else on voice chat having to listen to that. It also means, despite these being not open backed, so without that side tone on, which you can turn off if you don't like it, by the way, without that side tone on, it muffles the sound. And when I'm streaming, for example, I like to be able to hear myself very, very quickly. See, I just did a little huff there, so I'll just move that away. I need to be able to hear myself very quickly. I don't like using side tone usually because there's usually quite a slight delay on side tone, which can feel a bit off-putting. The side tone on these, however, is basically transparent. It does almost sound like I'm wearing an open back set of headphones on. It is really, really good. And that includes whether I'm using the boom mic, which is detachable, by the way. And when you do detach it, there is a secondary inbuilt mic on the cup itself, which still can provide side tone and also provides a way to use these headset with the mic when you don't have the boom mic attached, like, for example, using it with your phone. There is a catch there, though. Having removed the boom mic, you are now hearing me on the internal mic. And as you can hear, it picks up a lot more ambient noise. There is no sort of built-in passive noise cancellation at all, much less active stuff, so I wouldn't recommend it for voice chat specifically, but if you do have it hooked up to your phone, it will suffice for a voice call and whatnot, although the issue there is you can't actually hook them up to your phone wirelessly. These only use their own wireless interface that has to go to the dongle, so if you want to use them with your phone, you have to use them in wired mode, and as we are well aware, by this day and age, very few phones maintain a wireless connection these days, so you're probably going to need a dongle as well. So hardly the most convenient options for using it with your phone. But if you must, you can, and you can do it without this thing dangling in front of your face if you're out in the world. My only real complaint about the side tone, even though it does sound quite transparent, is it does introduce a constant background hiss. So if you're not listening to anything at the time, such as I'm not right now, because obviously I'm not playing a game right now, I'm not listening to music, I'm not watching a movie, whatever, there is a constant background hiss when that side tone is on. That's just kind of the nature of things. When you're in a game, you'll struggle to notice it unless you're playing a game that has deliberate silent moments in it for the sake of tension. And even then, you'll only notice it if you sort of, oh, right, yes. It's not too aggressive, but it is there, and you will notice it if you are, you've got a healthy set of ears and everything. And I know I've got a grey beard and everything, but my hearing is actually still really good. I've still got all of my high-frequency hearing. I did a test a couple of weeks ago. Now, as far as intuitive controls go, which is the other part of that bullet point, yes and no. Yes, in the fact they've done the thing where there's a ring around the ear cup that you twist to adjust things. It makes it really easy to find. You don't have to fiddle trying to find little buttons. There are a couple of little buttons that are hard to find, but those aren't ones you're using very often. One is for the EQ. There are 3 EQ modes: bass, boost, standard, and there is signature sound. Their signature sound just seems to be boosting the mids a little bit, which I suppose is supposed to help with hearing footsteps or whatnot in competitive, multiplayer shooter games or something like that, I suppose. But it sounds fine. The other hard to find button is just the power on and off. And again, you're only touching that once per session, twice, once on, once off. So not really an issue that you can't. Those controls are hard to feel. The controls you need are easy to feel. So you've got volume adjustment on one side, microphone and chat and game sound mix on the other side, and then you can press the ear cups in to mute the headset altogether or mute the microphone on the other side. My issue with usability is the microphone is on this side of the headset, right? It's right there. The microphone controls are on this side of the headset, and the other audio controls are where the microphone. Why would you do that? The microphone is here. Why wouldn't you put the microphone controls on the side with the microphone? It just makes sense to me in my brain. Is that just me being weird? I don't know. One thing I do like is there is a little light on the microphone that when you mute it, it lights up, is what I said there, in case you can't lip read. I do like that, having that in my peripheral vision, because you can just see it out of the corner of your eye, so you can instantly glance down at it and tell whether or not your microphone is muted, instead of having to try and ask or unmute and remute and things like that and try and figure it out, because all it does in the headset is go beep when you mute and unmute. So I like that. That's been on a lot of headsets I've looked at recently, and it should be on every headset as far as I'm concerned. It's such a lovely little usability thing, quality of life thing. The next bullet point, second to last bullet point, by the way, 15-hour battery. Rechargeable battery delivers up to 15 hours per charge, plus officially licensed for Xbox, works with Xbox Series. I'm not sure why that's in the bullet point for the battery, but oh well. Battery life 15 hours seems about right. It's hard to test this thing in real life because you very rarely wear a headset for 15 hours straight. I've done it a couple of times, but I haven't done it with this one. But yeah, I've only recharged it a couple of times in the sort of week and a half or so I've had it through several gaming sessions. And yeah, the battery seems to last quite a decent amount of time. It's not mind-blowing by today's standards, but 15 hours is still pretty good. And the final bullet point is compatibility. Works in wired mode with any 3.5mm audio source, 3.5mm cable sold separately. One of the catches for a super duper budget headset is it doesn't even give you the wired cable for using it in wired mode. Not that you really would. I've explained why. That's kind of inconvenient anyway. It's not. It's why would it's and the cables are easy to get, but not just putting one of those in the box. I mean, what do they cost to manufacture? 30 cents. But if you do go the wired mode and get yourself a cable from somewhere, that means you can use it with basically anything with a headset in it, including Nintendo Switch and stuff like that. Because the USB dongle itself, I've tested on the PlayStation, I've tested on the Nintendo Switch. Neither of them detect it properly because, of course, as I said before, when you plug in the USB dongle, it identifies as an Xbox controller. So the PlayStation is going to ignore it. Nintendo Switch ignores it. But that seemingly inconvenient choice does help it work at a much more native level with the audio features on the Xbox and your PC as well. So, end of day. For $100, is this worth investing in? Yeah. I'm not saying it's the best of its kind at $100. I haven't tried all of the $100 headphones out there, but as far as quality of sound, quality of mic, battery life, comfortability, all those factors are at the very least at the good enough level, if not pretty good level. So yeah, I would recommend this as a budget-friendly wireless headset for your gaming needs. The only two drawbacks are it doesn't have Bluetooth, so it can't wirelessly connect to your phone, and of course you have to decide which version to get. They don't have a universal version of this without the extra bells and whistles of the X and or P version, which is a shame because a couple of their previous headsets were just use it on any device you like, kind of seamlessly, which was beautiful. But not everyone has both consoles. Maybe you just need one or the other. But yeah, LucidSound LS15X gets the stamp of OK from Blunty. You know what else gets the stamp of OK? In fact, more than OK. Brilliant, fantastic, lovely, gorgeous, perhaps. The Patreon scrolling above there for the above and beyond support. I do appreciate what you do for me. Thank you ever so much for that. To the rest of you, thank you for at least making it to the end of the video. And if you haven't done the thumb or interactivity stuff for the bell and the comments and stuff, then you could do that to help out even more if you don't mind. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.